I was told that if I dress up smartly before a talk, I'll feel confident. I'll be like, oh my God, Divas, you look so amazing. But this red carpet out here makes you a bit nervous. Has it ever happened with you that you had to go and speak in front of people and you felt that anxiety, that nervousness? Happened? You had a lot to say, but you just went blank. Well, how many of you want to know the secrets to become confident in life? Yes. For that, you need to be with me. Tell me, out of these two options, what would you choose? You have to make a choice, okay? You will have two options and you have to make a choice, right? Which book would you prefer to read? 1. 2. All right. How about this one? 1 and 2. All right. How about this one? 1 and 2. I have a question for you. How did you make this choice? How did you choose one book over the other? Was it the title? Was it the genre? Was it the cover of the book that made you choose one over the other? Yes? Can I say that you just judged a book by its cover? And yesterday itself on Instagram, you liked a post which said, do not judge anyone. Ironical. The irony is that people will judge you, and that's okay. They will judge you. The challenge is when you judge yourself. I have lived my entire life judging myself. When someone asks me, hey, Divas, what's your name? I'm like, my name is Divas. I have lived my entire life as a stutterer who couldn't even speak his own name. And I was ashamed of the way I used to speak. Just like people are ashamed of how they look, their body weight, their skin color. I have lived my entire life doing that. And there is a way, there is a hack, there's a secret which you can also follow. Simple. Take a smartphone and open the front camera. Look at yourself in this fashion. And notice those details on your face that yes, I'm having gray hair. That shows experience. I have a big nose out here. So this gives me more air per second. Yes, there is some hair popping out of my nose, but that's okay. The smile is nice. I look sharp. I want you to do this every single day. And then you repeat these lines by saying, I like you. You say this out, I love you. One disclaimer, do not try when your girlfriend or your wife is around you. Else, something will go wrong. Now, when you do this every single day, you remind yourself of the greatness that you have within you. You might say that, yes, I like you, I love you. Thank you for being you. I am your biggest fan. You ought to be your biggest fan. You ought to be your biggest fan. The first secret, folks, perception of image. How do we see ourselves makes the biggest difference because the world will perceive you through their lens. The first is valuing your backstory. Yes, for some it's quite easy to speak in front of people. It's normal, right? But for me, it's a very big thing to speak in front of people, not just from the stage, in a one-on-one talk as well, because I have been a stutterer. If you have a story that you came from a village, you never had a chance to speak in English, but today you have someone who can speak so fluent, you're like, oh my God, look at him. Look at the backstory as well, where the person comes from. With me on this. And next, you accept yourself. Accept your imperfections. I've seen a lot of people losing opportunity just because they are judging themselves inside their head. And I didn't know that my wife will take this advice so seriously. and she accepted death. You were just married for a few years, and she decided to jump. Not even once did she think about us, about everyone at home, and she jumped. She jumped from 14,000 feet for skydiving. She's alive. I can show my diamonds to you. Now, I was like, I will not go for it because I was very clear in my head. And I had this data set with me that if the parachute goes up, my wife dies. And I love my wife. However, if the skydiver goes up, my wife dies. And I love my wife. However, if my wife goes up, even the skydiver dies. And I love the skydiver as well. So I said, no, I will not go for it. But as a husband, I went along with her to the base camp where she happily dared to jump. And that's what I saw over there. I thought my wife is the only crazy head in this world, but there were 5 more people along with her who were happily signing their death agreement that if they don't come back, they are okay with it. And I was happily taking that selfie that, hey God, I'm alive, thank you so much. It was me. Still, I asked this gentleman in the blue t-shirt that, can I also get on board? He says, why didn't you sign up before? I'm like, I just get inspired from these folks. He says, we have a helicopter skydive which can only take even number of people. I'm like, what does that mean? That like right now we have 6 people, and if you come on board, you're the 7th one. So we need to have 8, then we can have you on board. Or if someone drops out, that's a possibility. I'm like, fair enough, God has a chance for me. I went to the lounge area. And over there I saw this place where there were chits all over the wall, where people talk about how they felt after coming back. And I realized that people do survive. People do come back. Like, interesting. I explored further, and I came across the screen where this gentleman with a Superman pose was up there. And I was like, was it just a pose, or does he genuinely feel so happy out there? I'm like, must be something. I was sitting over there with glass of water, and the same gentleman in the blue t-shirt, he comes like, I'm like, yes, you're the one, right, who want to jump right now and stuff? I'm like, yeah, I thought so. He says, like, luckily we have a booking in our system, and there's one lady who can come up right now. If you're okay, we can pair you with her. I'm like, all right. And the next few minutes, something happened. My data set, which was holding me back, had changed. I had a new data set that yes, now I can jump. And yes, I was wearing that suit, ready to jump. And then something interesting happened. I was supposed to go for the skydiving. And before I was about to get on that helicopter, my skydiver says, any last message? I'm like, why do you say that? He says, for your friends and family. I'm like, aren't you a trained instructor? He says, yes, I am. And I'm like, why do you ask that? He says, if something goes wrong. And that triggered my old data set that if something goes wrong, I'm gone. But eventually, when he asked, as a public speaker who talks about confidence, I had to fake that confidence on the screen, which I did. And this is what I said. Yeah. I've experienced what is the fear of public speaking. Need to validate that. Which is that bigger fear? Is it fear from the heights, fear from the reptiles, fear from death or whatever, or fear from being on the stage? And I need to compare which one is more scary. Okay. And let me see. I have been on stage, so let's see.
You will find out soon, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy. I see you in the sky.
Yes, thank you. Did you hear the sarcasm in his voice when he said, you will find out soon, man? And he meant it. It was terrific being there. But then I learned a secret. Secret number 2, be confident. That's perception of fear. How do we perceive fear? It's majorly driven by our old data set, our conditioning. And that was holding me back all this while. And that's where I learned. Whenever you're trying something new, maybe your first talk, validate your data set. The first time will be tough for sure, but then at least show courage. Show courage. I did, and I created a memory. You might lose an opportunity just because you don't show courage. Yes, it is tough, but it's beautiful. I was able to create this so that someone who visits from India, he gets to say, yes, there was one Indian who was there who dared to jump. Because the chances of you dying on an Indian road is much higher than you dying from there. Data set. Think about it. What is holding you back? What is holding you back? Is it okay if I can teach you a bit of Hindi if you're not familiar with Hindi? Now, in Hindi or in English, we say A for apple, right? So today we call it as A for Admi. Admi as in a man. You can even say A for Aurat as in a woman. So A for Admi is our reference. Clear? B for Bada as in big. And C for Chota as in small. Are we clear? If I ask you, who is a Bada Admi? What would come to your mind? Which name would come to your mind? Okay, I can hear some names and I can guess that you might say someone who is powerful, rich, influential, who has a status and whatnot. Am I guessing it right? Okay. If I ask you, who is a Chota Admi? Then you might come up with some names. Something opposite to what you suggest for Bada Admi? Yes. A question for all of you listening to me. Who are you? A Bada Admi or a Chota Admi? Think about it. It doesn't come automatically that Divas, what I'm a Bada Admi. When you go for an interview, the interviewer becomes the Bada Admi, you become the Chota Admi. When you go for an appraisal, your manager becomes the Bada Admi and you become the Chota Admi. But when you talk as a senior, you become the Bada Admi and that person becomes the Chota Admi. What is happening? Same person behaving as two different people because we do not have an idea of our self-worth, who we are. And I call this as the Bada Admi effect, which has impacted so many people just because they were hesitant that how can I speak with him? He's a senior person. He's elder to me. Now, what has it got to do with you being underconfident? If someone is elder to you, just because his parents planned him before your parents, he came before you on this planet, that's it. If someone knows more than you, yes, because he spent more hours on that subject than you, that's it. That's it. So before you change your self-worth in your head, ask yourself, is this way affecting you or not? Not that way, but this way. Think about it. And even if nothing works for you in a given scenario, you feel really underconfident, then remember this gentleman. Do you remember this character? Oh yes, our childhood was beautiful because of this character, Mario. Do you agree that Mario had some superpowers? Yeah? He could run really fast, he could jump, he could get those coins, and he could really die for the princess. Oh my God, true love. So he was there. Do you have some privileges just like Mario? Devas, what privileges? I'm just struggling to make things work. Life is so tough. I have a life, I have this and all. My God, what privileges? God hasn't been kind to me, right? Do you have to beg for food every single day? No? That's L1 for you, my dear friends. Do you have a safe place around you where there is no threat, no danger? I'm taking or giving a talk from here. I don't have any security threat. It's a big thing, isn't it? That's L2 covered for you. You feel confident that, yes, I'm safe. You have someone who can really love you, someone to just hug you and just listen to you. People are living in isolation, in silos, and they don't have someone in their lives. Do you have access to education? It's a big-time privilege. I'm in a college. Education, not everyone gets it. They want to, they don't get it. That's L4 for you. And do you have this option to live a meaningful life before you say bye-bye to this world? Yes, not everyone has it. That's L5 for you. So whenever you are doubting yourself, just look at this perception of privileges. You might feel inferior as compared to other person because he has more privileges. Then look at your privileges. The first learning is always be the bada admi in your head. It should not impact you who the person opposite to you is. And second, always be grateful for your level. And that will give you immense confidence. You can walk up to anyone in front of you and talk to them, shake hands with them, instead of thinking that, oh, he's a bada admi. Think about it, folks. The three perceptions: perception of image, perception of fear, and perception of privileges. POI, POF, POP can design your life the way you want to. I wish you all the best for your life ahead. Thank you so much.